only. Got Leader G in the background doing the 1 and 2s on the engineering tip. I had to like bribe him to get here and whatnot, but nah, he showed up. We got Skinny in the background, and she's over here doing her thing. Very special episode today. We have someone who I've been, knowing for about 2 years now.
I think so.
2 or 3.
Maybe 3.
2 or 3. She's been very busy. When I asked her to come through, she didn't hesitate. But I said, all right, I'm restructuring a few things. And she was like, all right, you let me know when you're ready, and I'll pull up. And so she finally pulled up. We have the one and only from 92Q, Quicksilver Morning Show, and also 93.9 KYS, Miss Chey Parker.
Hello. I'm back, baby. Finally, right?
Word. How you feeling?
I'm feeling good. Excited. We have a lot of catching up to do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
I want to start by commenting. Now, I didn't know you had those shoes. You know what I'm saying? Them shits is fire. You know what I'm saying?
I had to come correct for the show,
You definitely did. You typically come in, you know what I'm saying, statuesque fashion type, you know what I'm saying? Coachella.
I might chill, but maybe so much not.
Yeah. Nah, you did your thing.
Thank
you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
How's things going on over there at the at the morning show? How's everything going?
It's mornings. I mean, mornings is a totally different lifestyle. Okay. And so I definitely don't be in the studio looking like this. Like whatsoever. I mean, sweatpants, hair tied, chilling with no makeup on. So,
right.
A lot of times when I have something to do after the show, that's when I, glam myself and get myself together. I mean, honestly, it's been such a journey, an exciting one.
Gotcha.
And it's been teaching me a lot about myself, my discipline, my routine, and also where I sort of see my radio career specifically going in the next couple of years. I feel like this has been a very pivotal role for me being on the morning show right now.
Yeah. So how early is it that you have to get yourself ready in order to?
So I'm up every morning at 4:15. 4:15, my alarm goes off. And I'm a slow mover in the morning. So I'm not somebody that can just jump up and, get going, because it's more than just being up. It's like I got to be up and I got to be on. I got to be ready to wake somebody else up. So I got to get up and really, ease my way into the day. And so I'm usually leaving the house no later than, 4:45. Yeah.
That's like people who go to the gym and stuff like that. They normally get ready for those type of hours, and then you're getting ready for that. And that's like what, Monday through Friday? Or
Monday through Friday. And then Sundays, I'm on air in D.C. on KYS from 9 a.m. to 1. So 9 a.m. feels like a breeze after you've been waking up at 4:15 every morning. But it's definitely a challenge. I mean, I still don't think I'm necessarily used to it. Like, I have a internal body clock, but at the same time, it's just something about your alarm going off at 4:15 where you're like, I'm not supposed to be up this early.
Right. And then I also do know this. It don't just stop there, because beyond the radio, you still have to be at events, because you're not just, a radio personality. You still have to show up to those type of events. So I know recently I saw you at the Cardi B concert.
Oh, yeah.
What you think about that? Word. How was that for you? The whole experience.
Yo, bro, don't get me started on how much I love this lady Cardi, okay? I am just obsessed with her story, because I love those stories where the person was the underdog, nobody believed in them, people treated them less than, and just really could not see the vision of her making it to the top. So to her, I don't know if she really recognizes how much she inspires her fans and just anyone watching her at the fact that she's made it this far. Because not only did you make it and people take you seriously, in the rap game, but on top of that, you are at the top of your game. I mean, this tour really set her apart from any other female rapper, because remember, this is 7 years since Cardi's last album. And so for you to have a sold out, the highest grossing debut arena tour for a female rapper in history.
I didn't even know that fact.
Yes. Crazy. Crazy. Selling out Madison Square Garden, and you don't have no openers. You don't have no openers. You know, she brought people out, of course, but we ain't know Missy Elliott was going to be at the Atlanta show. You know, we ain't know Jeezy or Cash Doll was going to be performing too. And so I am really proud of her. I thought the album was amazing. I was bumping the album all the way up until the tour. And I'm just really proud of her. For anybody where you feel like people don't believe in you, let that be your fuel to work so damn hard that you got to make people eat their words like it's dog shit.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you got to eat this.
Yeah. So I did notice one thing, because, like, I didn't go to the Cardi B concert, but I feel like there was so many feeds that I was looking at on TikTok and Instagram, like, that was showing me the shows. I'm like, damn, I probably should have showed up, because it was like, it was crazy. I was like, dang, yo, she really brought that whole shit to life. Like,
yes.
So that's why I'm asking you, like, was it really like that? But I clearly.
Yeah, it really was. I mean, she looked good. She sounded good. Her dances were amazing. I mean, production was on point. And to put on an arena show at that level is not easy. Like, a lot of people don't understand. And of course, you being, a production guy, like, you get it. There are so many moving parts that goes into making a show like that happen, making sure that it's on the screens, making sure that everything moves and goes along according to plan. So, like, for it to be her debut, arena tour, it went really well. I mean, I think it went better than some very seasoned artists tours go sometimes. I ain't finna say no names because there ain't no need to bring nobody else into it, and I hate when they put the girls up against each other. But it was definitely like that. I'm glad that I got the opportunity to, experience it, because it ain't no telling when else she's gonna, like, tour again. But the last thing I'll say on Cardi is that me being a woman who aspires to be a mother, seeing her give birth and do a tour like that, 5 months postpartum, when most hoes' edges ain't even grown back in yet, okay? Like, you're not even feeling like yourself 5 months postpartum. You don't even know what's going on 5 months postpartum. And she was up there twerking, doing splits, rapping every single word, no lip syncing. I mean, it was really good.
And I know you was able to see all of those different details to even speak to that.
I was up front.
We know.
Listen, I had to see that thing in 4K, baby.
Imagine your ass being in the back. You'd be like, nah.
You don't think so? I don't know. Because, like, again, it was that good. It was that good. I promise you. If you ever have the opportunity to go see her in the future, go see her, because I have a feeling she's only going to get better. She's only going to get better.
Facts. And then, so speaking of tours, I know what just got announced was the Chris Brown and Usher tour coming up. So, I mean, I don't know how you feel about that, but I mean, there's been a lot of people been telling me about that, like, the anticipation that's leading up to that. I don't know how that would work, but what do you think?
I mean, Chris Brown and Usher better get out of my face.
Damn.
Okay? I just feel like I'm sick of them, all right? I'm about to call Chris and tell him how much he gets on my nerves. Like, why would you announce this tour and it's on the same weekend as Jay-Z's Yankee Stadium shows? The same exact weekend, same exact nights. I'm excited about it, though, because, I mean, whoever came up with the name Raymond and Brown tour, R&B, I like that. Go ahead and give them a raise. Because that's marketing. But I saw Chris last year. Mm-hmm. I saw Usher as well when he was in the market, I believe, in 2024. Okay. And so I'm not necessarily, like, die hard. If I don't see this tour, I'm gonna slip my wrist. Like, I don't necessarily feel like that, because I have been able to see both of them separately. I've seen Chris a number of times. However, ain't nothing gonna be like them hitting the stage together and performing New Flame.
That's what so those moments like that, like, I mean, as a fan, I know you love R&B, obviously, and I know that Usher's time frame and then with Chris Brown's time frame is like, it just opens up the pocket even more. Yeah. So I mean, like, a lot of times you get certain artists, they have a certain pocket that they stick within as far as the age range, but now they double them up And
Right.
I'm trying to think about who was the last artist that had someone that had tenure from like the 90s up until like now, and then put it on together like that. But I think that was a genius idea.
I would be really upset if they decided
Mm-hmm.
to do a Michael Jackson tribute on this tour together. I would lose my entire shit.
And then you're not there.
Okay, because I ain't forgot either how, I don't remember if it was the Grammys or if it was the American Music Awards. It was one of these award shows. They snubbed Chris on him doing a Michael Jackson tribute.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like not only does Chris deserve that, I feel like Michael Jackson fans and Chris fans deserve that. Who else is going to do a Michael Jackson tribute like Chris?
So
let's be for real.
I was going to ask you, who else would be more qualified?
Nobody but Usher. Nobody else but Usher. And I mean, if we're going to talk about the new generation, we can throw Jadon in there. Like Jadon, new artist, signed by Usher and L.A. Reid, amazing talent. You can tell that he's being brought up in the business by L.A. Reid and Usher.
Okay.
The boy sings well. He dances well. He's like 18, 19 years old. Those are the only three people in my mind who I'm like, need to be doing a Michael Jackson tribute. Everybody else just needs to sit down, go home. Because you ain't going to do it the way they going to do it.
Performance-wise, obviously.
Yes.
Okay. But I think, so out of those three, who would you want to see perform those type of, choreography-wise?
Chris Brown.
Okay.
Brown. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And also just knowing his personal connection, to Michael Jackson and that being such an inspiration to him. I feel like as far as like really emulating Michael on the stage, it would be Chris.
Okay. I kind of figured that. Okay. Not bad at all. You know what I'm saying? I definitely want to. Listen, I'm here for it all. You know what I'm saying? All the tours and everybody putting on. Speaking of Michael Jackson, I do know that his movie is set to show up. I think this week.
Yes.
So I can't wait to see it. I believe his nephew is actually playing Michael Jackson. So I think that that's going to be pretty dope. I don't know if you're going to check that out and whatnot, or if you've seen the trailer for it, but.
Yeah, we actually had advanced private screening for it with our stations. I wasn't able to see it though, so I haven't seen it yet. I'm going to have to see it with everybody else. But I heard that it was really, really, really good. However, not to give too much away, because I'm like one of those people where you can tell me the whole movie and I will still go and enjoy it. I don't give a damn. But I know that a lot of people don't like the movie to be spoiled for them. But I was talking to my co-host about it today, and they were saying it has to be a part 2. So just when you go see it and you watch it, just know that there's a lot of speculation and a lot of talk about there having to be a part 2, because there's a whole different era of Michael Jackson's life that they don't even touch on in this movie that just came out. I
can't wait to see it, because now that you gave that piece to it, it's kind of like, all right, I'm piecing stuff together. But from the trailer alone, they didn't even have to do much with the trailer. I'm still gonna watch, because I'm like, all right, this I'm gonna watch this. But okay. So another thing I wanted to touch base on, I know we was talking about concerts and whatnot, but Coachella just passed this weekend. I'm not sure if you ever been to Coachella.
I've never been.
No. Okay, yeah, the Coachella they had it was headlined by Sabrina Carpenter, Justin Bieber, Karol G, and whatnot. Like, is that something that you could see yourself like even hosting? Would you consider hosting Coachella?
I would, of course, for sure consider, hosting it. Would likely say yes, to something like that. I think for me though is because I'm so entrenched in the hip hop culture that although I know Sabrina Carpenter, I know Karol G, know Justin Bieber, know some of their songs, I'm not entrenched in that side of pop culture to where I would feel super comfortable in that space. But I guess that would honestly, be the challenge. I have hosted similar, festivals to Coachella, clearly not that huge or that big. But yeah, that would be an awesome time. That would be a great time. And even outside of even hosting something like that, I would love to pop up as an influencer or a content creator with a brand. So that would be really fun for me too.
Yeah, in my mind, I was just thinking just like spreading your wings and just doing something of that magnitude.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that would definitely help you. I can't imagine that it would hurt you or anything like that. But if you,
Right.
like, I didn't know if you got invited to anything like that. Some people
No, I have not had the honor yet. That is a goal though. That is a goal. So to be invited to, Coachella, something that big and that massive. I don't know. I've been seeing a lot of talk online lately though from other content creators and influencers about being invited to Coachella and then their flights being canceled and, brands and, partnerships rolling back, their offers. So I haven't been able to really dig into it like that. So don't quote me, but
okay.
yeah, it sounds like it was a little bit of a mess this year.
Yeah, they said that they got fined because I believe the second weekend they were supposed to like shut down like before 1 o'clock, but they got fined like $40,000. I'm like, they don't care about $40K.
I know $40K sounds like pennies in a bucket
for them. It's
for
like
them.
okay,
Right,
cool.
right.
Nah, I'm saying like, but all right, cool. So one of the things I did want to ask you is because I know you've done a lot of different radio circuits and whatnot, and you've been around for a little bit. When it comes to AI, right? It's been heavily pushed, and I want to know what you think about AI when it comes to artists and whatnot. Do you feel as though AI is kind of like taking away from artists, or it's enhancing them in the whole music community? Do you think that, like, how do you feel about that?
I think it's actually doing both. And unfortunately, we just live in a time and we also live in a country where our laws and our government just cannot keep up with how fast technology is advancing. I mean, AI has even started to make its way into the radio industry. will.i.am has sort of spearheaded this entire AI radio station where there's AI personalities and, the music is in rotation and is relying on AI. And it's an interesting world, right? And I know that a lot of people can be scared by it or feel like their jobs are going to be taken away by it. I totally do not agree with people, making songs in the likeness of an artist or with an artist's voice and then trying to pass it off as that artist. I just think it completely imposes on artists and creatives' rights. And it's just a violation. I think a lot of creatives consider their art and what they create as something that's very personal to them, and it's something that they're sharing with the world, and they don't have to. Like, artists don't have to share their music with us. They could totally go get regular jobs like, anybody else. Not that they would want to do that, but so many times I feel like we as consumers of music and of the culture think that we're entitled to all that we consume.
Okay.
And we're not, like, music and art is such a gift to us, and I feel like we need to treat it as such. And sometimes we can really get out of hand with the AI thing. However, I feel like if used correctly, it can totally enhance a artist's career. It can enhance how we do our jobs as creatives, as a radio media person, how I do my job. And I think it just really needs to be used correctly and have, boundaries and constraints around it. Now, how fast that'll happen, who knows? Because sometimes I get on social media and I see something that's AI generated, and I didn't know until I read the comments that it was AI generated. I'm like, am I my grandma? Am I like,
okay.
I see your citizen now because I can't tell the difference between AI and a real video?
Okay.
Crazy.
I know. So now I got two questions for you. One of them is from an outsource or a guest or whatever. But the first one that I want to ask you is, so let's say they came out with a Chey Parker, and she's a host, right? But with your likeness, with your likeness and your voice and whatnot, but she's killing it. But they say, you know what? We're gonna give you a certain percentage. You don't have to do everything, but we're gonna give you a percentage, and she's gonna stay on the digital side. Well, how would you feel about that?
We can start to talk about it right there. You had me at the percentage. I'm like, percentage, I need a licensing fee. And I think that's what it's going to come down to, right? Like, I think as creatives, as artists, as media people, influencers, that we are going to have to figure out how we can own our likeness and license it to whether it's an AI platform, a radio station, a social media platform, and they have to pay to use your likeness. Like, it's totally not fair to be using someone's whole sauce, whole swag, and think that you about to give me what, 10%? What you think you're gonna give me, 20?
But you would be okay with it as long as the numbers make sense.
As long as the numbers make sense.
Right.
I personally would, yes.
Okay, because I feel like that's where it's going. But like, what about singers and like old voices, old sounds, like over time? Like, because honestly, and we could just keep it to you. If the May Parker was like, all right, this is May Parker. It still looks like you. It's on different like platforms and whatnot. And you was like, you know what? I want at least 50%.
Yeah.
But you didn't have to be in all those different locations. But you're still receiving the different revenue. Would you be okay with that? But you still have, the original you, obviously, because you're you.
Right. I mean, I don't think I would necessarily have a problem with it, because we also have to remember that if there's this AI generated version of you, there's someone on the back end who is managing that code, right? Or there's still some sort of work going into this AI character. And so I do think whoever, the code generator or whoever the person is managing that deserves to be compensated for their work. I also deserve to be compensated, for my likeness, for my image, and even for just the concept or the inspiration that, that I am. Like, these people couldn't be creating these characters if they weren't pulling, the concept and the likeness from somewhere. So I feel like everyone just needs to be compensated, and everyone just needs to feel safe. Like, creatives need to feel safe, because we can't get away from AI. But we need to be able to use it to our advantage and not to our detriment.
Right. I feel like it would be another stream of revenue to where you can, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can
book me to host your AI event. May Parker.
But May Parker, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, why not? But that's a really great perspective, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people will probably think about even adopting something like that. But in terms in that same lane, I'm thinking about it like this. When it comes to streaming platforms, when it comes to just like everything that's AI generated and whatnot, a lot of people, they utilize streaming platforms to create different, forms of streams, whether it be podcasts, whether it's just Twitch is really popular, just YouTube, just in general. So do you think that this has opened up a whole different lane for people that have not really been in the loop to actually capitalize off of?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because now someone who doesn't like to be on camera, doesn't have necessarily the personality, or the draw, whatever that it factor is that, a lot of creatives, whether you're a music artist, an influencer, a producer, a painter, whatever it is, some people don't necessarily have that it factor that draws people to them, because we all know that we're living in a world where people buy into you and then they buy into what you do. But a lot of times you attract people by just who you are. And some people just don't have that it factor to really give that to someone else in a way that activates the audience. And so a lot of people may consume what you're doing, but can you activate your audience? Can you make them do something? Can you make them go somewhere? Do they want to hang out with you? Do they want to date you? Whatever the case is. So I feel like now with AI, someone who may not necessarily have that razzle dazzle can now create that. It's like an elevated upper echelon version of Sims, and you can just create your own person, your own world, and be whoever you want to be in more ways than we ever could before.
Word. And as avatars, you could create your avatar, you know what I'm saying, as close to you as you possibly want it to be. So with that being said, now I do know, like, you're in radio, obviously, clearly, and you're not against, like, doing anything other than radio. So when it comes to, as they call them, podcasts, I just call them just shows and whatnot. I don't like to create the narrative like, oh, radio versus podcast, radio versus podcast. I feel like there's a there's a format for radio,
Right.
and then for podcasts you got a lot more flexibility. So,
Right.
for example, like on my show, like right now, you could literally. I'm not saying that you can't say what you want to say on radio, but literally you could say whatever the fuck you want to say right here, right now, and whatnot. But at the same time, it's like, all right, they should both go hand in hand. Do you think that it enhances the artist and it pushes them from a promotional standpoint, or do you think that people just should just stay in their lane as far as commercial is concerned, like just radio?
I think that there are people who can do both, and
Okay.
then I think that there are people who are better in one lane versus another. I know I have some colleagues who tried radio and it just did not work out for them, but they found their lane and they found their stride in podcasting, and now that is their thing, and they're very successful at it. Same thing with radio. Just because you are good on the radio and you can draw audience and keep their attention doesn't necessarily mean that you can do the same thing on a podcast. And again, there are some people who can do both. Like I started in podcasting. So before I even touched a radio mic professionally in a big market, which I started in DC in 2018, I was hired to do a podcast. And I just happened to be so opinionated, and they, I guess, seemed to like how I sounded on the podcast that they said, hey, put that girl on the morning show with Angie and DJ Money and see how she does. And that's literally how I got started in DC, was just coming in during their 8 o'clock hour, which was always some sort of topic about love or parenting or, money, career. And I would give my opinion, and that turned into me being on for an hour, and now I'm on for 2 hours, and now I'm on for the whole morning show, and now I'm doing weekends, and now so that's literally how I got started in radio. So I will always have a love for the digital space and creating there, because I think when you carve out your own corner of the internet, brands and platforms now have to come to you versus you trying to get on. So a lot of times when people ask me how to get on radio, I tell them carve out your corner of the internet, and if radio is for you, it will come to you. Okay. And we're seeing that a lot more in the industry now. I mean, look at Jess Hilarious. Shout out to Jess on The Breakfast Club. She carved out a corner of the internet, and now she's on radio. Same thing with L'Oreal on The Morning Hustle. She was doing a podcast and got on radio. So I always tell folks that, these traditional platforms, whether it be radio or terrestrial TV, they will come to you when you already can prove that you have a voice, you can be consistent, and you can draw an audience. They're going to want that more than you want them. So let them want that, and then they'll come to you, and you'll have just a whole different type of leverage in the space.
Okay, yeah, definitely. No, I agree with that. I was just wondering because I know that, you've done both and whatnot. And then speaking of love, because you mentioned that, speaking of that, so
we're going into the love, we're going into the personal life.
Yeah, it's music, life, and love. But you picked it up. You picked up the way I was doing. I was trying not to you know what I'm saying? I'm speaking to a journalist.
Let's
so
do
it's
it.
so because, and I'm just going to mirror it. We both have a lot of events that we do. We're both very busy and whatnot. So I just want to know for you, what would that look like if you had a relationship? The level of understanding would have to be clear, and it would have to be just consistent across the board, because there's a lot of, you just told me Monday through Friday you're doing X, Y, and Z, and then you still have to attend certain events. So
yeah,
how would you balance that? What would you tell your partner? How would you explain it to your partner if you know what I'm saying, want to do one?
Yeah, I mean, right now I'm on a 21 day straight work binge, which is pretty crazy. I got to go back and count the days. It might actually be 28. Very, very busy. And I'm in a relationship now.
Okay.
And I never thought that I would be in a relationship with another creative. I always thought that it would be someone in a more traditional career route because I just always felt like I needed that balance. Like I needed somebody who kind of had that structure of being a doctor or a lawyer or, working some sort of 9 to 5 of some sort, maybe be in business for themselves, but it be sort of a totally different industry than what I'm in. And lo and behold, I ended up in, a relationship where I'm with another creative. He's a popular comedian in Baltimore. He has his own nonprofit organization that also has, a for-profit business model. Right. He's very busy himself. And I never thought that it would be able to work with someone else that did things very similar to me or just lived a similar lifestyle. And it actually works very well. And I think because I don't have to do that explaining, right? I don't have to necessarily be concerned about, bringing him to an event or him bringing me to an event and him not feeling comfortable in the room or, me not feeling comfortable in the room or feeling like I have to be, right tied to his hip versus working whatever room it is myself. If there's something that pops up last minute, it's not, well, why you didn't tell me that? And, I didn't know that. And, well, what time are you going to be home? And, well, who's going to be there? Of course, my industry is very male dominated. So like I'm around a lot of DJs, a lot of artists, even in his industry, there's a lot of women around, but we just don't even have to have those conversations because we get it. Like, we get each other, and it ain't no thing. And it's just, it's more fun, too, because it's like, out of any relationship I've been in, it's like, I can literally take you anywhere with me. So everything that I was doing single with, like, my friends, I just bring my man, or he just brings me.
And everything is cool.
Yeah, it works.
I think, see, a situation like that, and I always am a firm believer, like, look, if somebody is already in the industry that you're in, then not 9 times out of 10, but it may work out a little bit better because the understanding is already there. You don't have to do too much explaining to, like, pull them into, the whole situation.
Right.
So I think that's dope that you have that and whatnot. So, salute to that. Okay, so you already...
Listen, I'm blessed and I'm thankful. I feel like, before this relationship, I was in a previous relationship for like 5 years. And I thought that was going to be the person I was going to marry. Very different, big age difference. Okay. Looked at my career more like it was a hobby versus my dream. And so that disconnect right there, a lot of time is what I tell young women who are coming up, who are very ambitious, but also want to be partnered or be, married or have children, is that it's less about finding someone who is stable and who has money, which is very important. Like, like when you get to a certain age, you need the stability. Y'all gotta make money. However, it's more so about someone seeing you and understanding where you are. Because something could work for a season, but when you talk about being with someone long term or in a marriage, you're not always gonna be the person you are right now. So if my man decides that he wants to run a marathon, well, for the 6 months of him training to get to a marathon, everybody under the household kind of has to adjust. Like, we're eating different. Time schedules are different. He's training. Somebody got it. You know what I mean? So I feel like you have to be with somebody who really sees you and supports what you're doing. They can't think that what you're doing is for play or that it's a hobby, because then when real life starts to happen and y'all do get married, or bills or finances go up and you got to work, or you end up getting pregnant and the man doesn't want you to work, but you still want to chase your dreams, it's too much headbutting that you are going to end up being miserable. So you got to be with somebody who sees you and who sees you the first time, because you got to do what you got to do. You got to chase your dreams, and the vision you have for yourself and where you want to be. You don't got time to do a whole lot of back and forth and a whole lot of explaining to a nigga, okay? The nigga got to get it. He got to get you, and you got to get him, and y'all got to get to it. We don't got too much time to do a whole bunch of talking and going back and forth about. I ain't got time for that.
So look. Speaking of time, how much? All right. So how long situationships? How long would you ideally? I know, but everything starts off as a situationship in the beginning, though. If you think about it, it's just a terminology. But
no.
So you don't just get with somebody and like, week 2, we're together and this is it and that's that.
It's dating.
I know.
So that's what I had to learn.
It's still a situationship. You don't think so in the beginning?
To me, a situationship is you're dating someone, you're likely sleeping with them, and you really don't have an understanding of what it is. That to me is a situationship because you in a situation and you don't know what it is. So that's why you're labeling it as a situationship because you don't have any other label for it. You can't say that you're really dating because do y'all go on dates? Probably not. If you're in a situationship, you're probably just going over each other's house and doing the do. You're not in a relationship, so you can't call it that. You're not in a marriage, you're not engaged, you can't call it that. So you walking around calling it a situation. All right.
So you know what? I feel like then the situationship term is just for the guys, right? So just
y'all
say you're dating. Because if you say dating...
Are y'all going on dates, though?
Yeah. No, well, I mean, yeah. I mean, y'all dating. Yeah, for sure. I mean, because think about it like this. If you hit me with the... This is a situation, I'm like, nah, we still dating. Then you're like, oh, okay, cool. So it's just the terminology that really gives it that stigma. So if I don't say situationship, then it's like, all right, cool, we just dating because we trying to figure out what's what. But the point of the question was, at what point would you say, hey, what are we doing here? If you even would do that.
So I wouldn't even ask. Being in my 30s now, I'm 34. Now I wouldn't even ask what this is or what we're doing because I'm expecting that whatever man I'm dating, if it's something, he'll let me know what it is. And if he doesn't let me know what it is, then it ain't nothing. You know? But however, in my younger years, I would say that like around, I would give it like 3-6 months. Now I think 6 months is entirely too long for a woman in her 30s that wants to be married and have kids. 6 months is too long for you to be just asking the question on what it is.
Okay.
Even if it ain't nothing yet, y'all gotta at least know by like 90 days. Like we gotta know something. We gotta know if we just doing the do. We gotta know if this is exclusive, if you expect me to only be seeing you or not. Like we gotta know that
right
by 3 months.
Because I'm doing the time frame. You spend 6 months, then if it don't work, then you got to get somebody. That's another 2 months. Now we at 8 months, 6 months. You got another year.
And time flies. And time fucking flies. And that's what I'm saying, ladies. You don't got time for all that shit. You don't got time to be going through these people one by one. Now, I'm not saying that you have to be sleeping with everybody, but I always tell women to date fast. You have to get in, you have to get out. You have to get in there, get to know somebody, and if you see that it's not aligned, then you need to get out. You don't need to stick around and ask questions and, oh, well, by Christmas and, oh, well, by Valentine's Day. And then next thing you know is by your birthday. And then the next thing you know, we're at Christmas again. So I really feel like as a woman, you have to date fast. And a man will always let you know what it is if it's something. Like I started dating my man in July of that year. And we were in an official relationship by September of that year. And I didn't have to ask. I didn't have to push. I didn't have to hint. He let me know, I don't want you with nobody else. You're not finna be with nobody else. And you mine. And that's, is we clear, like, and yeah, we made it clear, made it official.
All right. I already know what you're talking about.
People take relationships too seriously. Like, not to say don't take your relationship serious, but like, we're just boyfriend and girlfriend. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we take that as if it's marriage, and it's like, we can break up. Like, we're just boyfriend and girlfriend. We're just deciding that I'm only gonna see you and you're only gonna see me, and we're gonna see if we can get to the next level. If we can't, we can break up. It ain't.
But it only matters to you and him, nobody else. It don't matter to nobody else. That's y'all, you know what I'm saying?
Right. But I do feel like you gotta put some sort of label on a relationship, whether even if it's a friendship. You got to be able to say, is this a friend or is this an associate? Is this a colleague? Because labels create boundaries in a relationship, and that's how you stay healthy. Like when it's no boundaries, it's way too much wiggle room for things to get toxic and for things to get confused, and then you're going to end up on an episode of Snapped. I watched too many true crime documentaries.
So you be like, man, this is how I do this is how I do that, this is how I cut here.
I love true crime.
You see,
A lot of people
you gonna be in a movie
A
soon.
lot of people get murked because they don't want to communicate the way they supposed to in a relationship.
Would you do a movie? Would you do a movie?
Would I like act in a movie?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know how good I would be.
Don't worry about that. Let me handle that. But all right. So but now I get you.
But if you do a documentary and you need a voice, call your girl.
Oh yeah, because you did MTV Experience.
Yes,
obviously.
Yes, call your girl. I want to get
that shit
more
was
into
dope
that.
too.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, we had one of the Justin. We had Justin.
One
up
of the
here.
cast.
Yeah, we had
That's
him up
dope.
here and whatnot. But it was really good. You did a great job.
Thank you.
Nah, you did. So speaking of great jobs, I want to like segue into, you know what I'm saying, out of love back into the music. So now I want to know this, right? If you had to develop a verses and you could just pick any two, it doesn't have.
Oh shit. Okay.
You already know where I'm going. Which two artists would you put that you would like to see in the verses together against each other, obviously? Take your time.
Damn it. Okay. So, I mean, I guess I'm going to have to go to the Chris Brown and Usher show to see some things, but that would be a dope versus.
That's a concert, basically,
yeah,
at that
right.
point.
Absolutely.
Like Chris Brown and, damn.
Yikes.
I mean, it could be old school, new school,
Okay.
dead or alive, or excuse me, passed away.
I would like to see, this is like kind of sort of random, but not. I would really like to see Jamie Foxx and Neo in a versus.
Oh, man.
And I'm talking their own songs and also songs that they've written for other people.
Oh.
I think that would be dope.
That's fair. I never heard anybody say Neo and then Jamie Foxx.
Yeah.
Amazing singers.
So I would like that. Rappers, I mean, we all are still holding our fingers crossed for Nicki Minaj and Lil' Kim. Will it ever happen?
No.
Nicki! Nicki! If you're listening to this, girl, I know we have had such an up and down couple of years. But I love you, girl. And I feel like they need to do that for the culture. But I don't even know if the dolls can get through the first round.
Can you put anybody else with Nicki that you feel that? Oh,
No.
wow.
No.
Wow. Not even Remy?
No. Remy don't have enough songs. I'm
know,
sorry.
I know.
And I'm a Remy fan. I'm a fan of all the girls, but I'm also a fan of like being honest, you know? And Remy don't have enough music. She don't have enough hits to go toe-to-toe with Nicki like that. Only Lil' Kim does. And a lot of people will say, oh, Nicki ain't never gonna get in the ring with Lil' Kim with a versus because Lil' Kim's songs are so classic and timeless. Like, what is Nicki gonna hop out with when Kim do Money, Power, Respect? You know, what's she gonna do? And these is not even Kim's necessarily main songs. These are songs, you know, she was featured on. But like, I'm like, don't sleep on Nicki. Nicki got her monster verse.
She does.
She got Warning when she did that cover. If you a real Nicki fan, you remember the Warning cover, okay? Like, there are things you remember. Itty Bitty Piggy.
The only thing I don't really like is because of the different time span.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a gap within. I'm just like, so can we pick anybody from, you know, Nicki's time frame moving forward?
Who was in Nicki's time frame? She was by herself for so many years. Like, literally, I remember watching the BET Awards for maybe like 4 years straight, and Nicki would be in the category with Diamond from Crime Mob.
That's not
Like, let's be fucking for real. Like,
I mean, Diamond was dope though. Don't get it twisted.
I mean,
she was.
but against Nicki though,
I know that's not.
you know,
it,
Nicki really didn't have any people or female rappers that really could challenge
she
her.
took over. She
was uncontended. Yeah. Like, and that's also why I respect Cardi so much, because you got Lotto now. You got Megan Thee Stallion now. You got Doja Cat. You got Glorilla. You got Sexy Red. You got Ice Spice. You got Lola Brooke. There are so many. Yeah, you got
Doechii.
You got so many female rappers out, and Cardi B is literally setting herself apart from everybody else. And so it hits different when you're a shark in a sea with other sharks.
Okay.
And you the big dog. It hit different than when you just a shark and you by yourself with a whole bunch of little goldfish. And, that's how I kind of feel about that. But I don't know who else would go against Nicki. Like, I have no idea. No one else, because I'm never going to say Cardi. It just, no.
Oh, because
Nicki's the queen. She as much as I love Cardi, we not about to put Nicki and Cardi in a versus and think we fit in the, like, no.
that would almost be the closest, though. That's the closest.
And I hate that for us.
I know.
That's why it needs to be Lil' Kim. It has to be Lil' Kim.
Yeah, but we.
And Lil' Kim said she would do it. Nicki is the one.
Lil' Kim would do it, really?
Playing games.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean,
Lil' Kim is saying she would do it because Lil' Kim knows that, like, we would likely all be on her side because the music is so classic.
Okay.
It's so timeless.
It is. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna hold you there. So I guess I got one or two last questions. And,
okay.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure this thing out because you already answered one of them, and I was like, all right, shit, she already gave her pick. But when it comes to major or independent, what do you think would suit you more? Like, just being major, independent, as far as promotional push. Like, would you rather do things on your own and use your own money, or would you rather a big giant push you as far as, commerciality is concerned?
I feel like a hybrid of both is necessary.
Okay.
I was able to get onto a big platform on a Radio 1, station by being independent and doing my own thing. But I do think you unlock a different level when you're able to have a major brand or a major label or platform be able to be a machine behind you. So if you already have it and you can kind of get things going on your own, that machine behind you is only going to help propel you. And so I will always vote for using someone else's money before I use my own. However, I do think you always have to keep some level of ownership over your likeness, over your creative ideas, to make sure that you always maintain something for yourself and you're able to go anywhere, no matter what brand you're attached to, and still be successful. And so my goal has always been to not be, Chey Parker on 92Q or Chey Parker on KYS, but Chey Parker on the radio, Chey Parker on TV, Chey Parker, voicing a video game, or Chey Parker voice hosting a show. And so the brand is Chey Parker, and not necessarily, sometimes you'll see news anchors do like, Trina Johnson on Fox, and that's like their Instagram name. But okay, what happens when you leave Fox? You gotta just be Trina Johnson. And so that's always been my goal, is to like keep the mindset and the grind of someone who's independent. But when you are able to have a big machine or a corporation help push you and sort of be that support that helps propel you, then you should absolutely take it.
Dope. That's a really great perspective that you gave, because I didn't even think about that. And then my last question is, if you had to recommend, I guess, 3, 4 to 5 artists that you would want to see on this platform here, who would it be? Any of your people, because I know you go through, you've seen a lot of people, but yeah. Who would it be? Like, who can you say, like, you know what? Hey, I want y'all to go through here. This will work for you.
And forgive me if I name people who you might have already had on.
It's cool.
I think that AJ Showtime, who is the DJ on Persia Nicole's midday show here in Baltimore, would be great, because he mixes for an hour and a half every day on Persia's show, and he is one of the many reasons why her show is number one in this market, and by a long shot, because of how talented she is, but also how amazing he is with the music. Like, he just creates a different type of listener experience on the air that you just cannot get anywhere else. And I don't think he gets credit enough for it, but he's such a lover of music and of the culture that I think he would be like great on this platform. The other person I would say who is Baltimore based is T Savage. What up, T Savage? Love her. Very talented, has an amazing story, but not only does she have a great story, her mother has an amazing story and was on that, it was a VH1 show called like Gangsta Queens or Queens.
Oh, I know her mother. I know her mom.
Yeah.
I know her mother.
So
yeah,
I think T Savage would be awesome. And then if I'm going like super duper like
you talking about Chantel?
Yeah.
Chantel.
Yes, Chantel. If I'm going super duper mainstream and like I'm reaching for the stars, I'm gonna say Baby Keem. Okay. I know that's random. But I don't know why. I just see him here and I feel like y'all would have a good vibe, good conversation. He's Kendrick Lamar's cousin or something. I love
down.
Music. I feel like every time I hear Baby Keem, he sounds different. So, but I still know it's him. Same thing with Don Toliver. It's like every time Don Toliver drops a project, he like reinvents himself, but I still know that that's him. Okay. So I think he would be great on the platform too.
So look, I'm looking for, you named him. Yo, you got to get him up here.
Oh, and get Ty Alexander up here. Shout out to my girl.
Come on.
Yes, get Ty up here. Who else?
Who you got?
DJ Kibi. I don't know if you've been able to talk to her.
It don't even matter. Whoever it is that you feel you want to
Nori. She's another radio girl. April Watts. It's so
Shout them out. Shout them out.
Many. Like we can have a list. I can name all the girls. The girls. I don't like to call myself a girl's girl because I'm really not. Because whores be whoring. And they'll drag your name through the mud and call you everything but a child of God. But like the girls that I foot with, I'm a girl's girl. And there's so many who are so talented and who have opened doors for me and have just looked out for me. Especially coming into this market, coming from DC, feeling really welcomed in Baltimore, and I love the people, and just making sure that I'm straight. Okay. So yeah, shout out to the girl.
So I'm gonna lean on you to get those people that you just named to come through. I'm holding you to that, like, to bring them out. Oh my God,
no, the pressure is on.
Yeah, you send them.
Listen,
you know
I got you. I can connect you with them.
I definitely have to shout out first and foremost D Nice. Because that's how we met.
Hey, D Nice.
Word. I have to shout out Jazzy Mango because, you know what I'm saying? Jazzy's
such a sweetheart.
Word. She's such a queen. Dominic the Diva. Like I hit her, you, and Persia Nicole, and I was like, yo, I need y'all to come through. I was like, hey, what would it take? And y'all was like, nothing. We'll do anything for you. Y'all was like, yo, whatever you say, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, yeah, I'll pay you. You're like, what? No, we'll show up for nothing, like, you know what I'm saying? And you did.
Yes.
I was just had to like slow it down. So I really appreciate that. And I don't know if there's anything you want to speak about.
No, I appreciate you. I appreciate you inviting me to this platform, and always willing to listen to my ideas. Shoot some content with me. I love everything that you're doing. I see it mostly on TikTok all the time, and so I'm always happy to be here. And I'm sure this will not be my last.
No.
But you can definitely check me out, of course, every single weekday on the Quicksilver Morning Show from 6 to 10 a.m. on 92Q, and on Sundays on WKYS from 9 to 1. But also on top of that, holla at your girl on the socials, okay? TikTok and Instagram. I'm also on Threads at I am Chey Parker. And we got a lot of dope things coming up. I'll be hosting Artscape in May. Okay. We're doing Baltimore by Baltimore in June. AFRAM is coming up, and so I'm just excited to get outside, and I love being in the community. So like that's where I thrive, to be honest.
I love that because as a journalist, I didn't have to yo, you're so great because of the fact I did not have to say any of that shit. You already, you closed it for me. I'm like, shit, I don't even got to do that last part. Typically, but I definitely appreciate you being who you are and then coming through and doing what you did. I definitely want to shout out Skinny for coming through. You know what I'm saying? Being
Yes,
here.
thank you.
Your words. Shots by Skinny, ladies and gentlemen. I want to shout out.
I'm about to get some shots by Skinny.
Word. I want to shout out my son Chris. I want to shout out Swag. I want to shout out Lee. We are here, sponsored by Digital Impact Studios. We have Chey Parker in the building, and this was a great time. And yeah, we out.
Until next time.
Word.